This one painting that I did 12 years ago is somehow still very relevant, not in a good way. So let me just show you. But this is a painting I did almost 12 years ago about the war in Afghanistan. At the time, I wasn't as woke as I am now. I didn't have the same amount of information about the war, the whole American imperialism, colonialism. Like, I didn't really know much about any of those stuff. I wasn't really like academic. I took APUSH and AP European history, but I wasn't necessarily like trying to learn history necessarily. I was just trying to survive high school. But even then, listening to like the news about what's going on, what was happening in Afghanistan at the time, I was thinking about it from the perspective of like the innocent civilians and especially children. Partly because I have family members who survived the Korean War. So my grandma actually only finished second grade education because when she was in school, the Korean War started and her entire family basically went into like a mountain somewhere to hide. And because people were so disconnected, there wasn't like any internet or Wi-Fi or anything, they were actually hiding in some random cave in the mountain a couple years after the war was already over. So by the time they finally like descended from the mountains and left the cave, it was already too late for her to return to school. And at the time it was a war-torn country. Like, her family couldn't afford to send her back to school and support her through that. And also, you know, patriarchy, marrying young girls, all those stuff together. So she always talks about how if it weren't for the war and if she had better education, how her life would have been so different. She's always been this like huge advocate for both me and my sister's education. My mom also, thanks to that lineage, has always been very outspoken about like women's rights within the family. We did grow up in like a very patriarchal family where when both my sister and I were born, my grandma from my dad's side came all the way, like traveled 3 to 4 hours to see us. And as soon as we were born and she found out we were girls, my grandma, my paternal grandma, didn't even bother saying hi to my mom or even like holding us as babies, as newborn infants, and just packed up and left again. So that's kind of like the family history that I come from. So when I was like listening to the news about like what was happening in Afghanistan, I couldn't help but think about all the children who were getting their education, their opportunity, their right to peaceful life getting taken away from them, and there wasn't anything for them to do. That they had zero control over what was happening around them and getting like bombs dropped on them. Before all this like new stuff that I started to learn about in recent years, I was already like thinking about the kids in Afghanistan. And like in a way, this painting is still very much a reality. I don't know, like I feel like I should have connected the dots a lot sooner, because this painting's always just been in my room. Everywhere I moved, I kind of carried this painting with me everywhere. I kind of just looked at it as like, oh, it's just like a piece that I did